Hello everyone, I'm Damini, your host for today, and today we have with us Mr. Devanshu. So I will not take much of the time because today is Saturday and the weekend probably. So I'll ask Mr. Devanshu to please introduce himself to the audience.
Thank you, Damini. First of all, I would like to thank you for having me here. And I am Devanshu Badoria. I have done my schooling from Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. And after my schooling, I was very clear that I will not go for the engineering. And then I went to this CLAT. And then after clearing the CLAT, I went to the Hidayatullah National Law University, Raipur. After my college, I got an opportunity to work with Thomson Reuters for a year and a half, and thereafter I have done judicial preparation, and thereafter judicial preparation, I was, in the midst of the preparation, I got the opportunity to work with a PSU called Chhattisgarh State Marketing Corporation, and while in the PSU, I had given interviews in the law firm, and thereafter I am into this coaching company.
Thank you so much for this very short and crisp introduction. We all know you because, like, when I actually approached you, I saw that you're working in a coaching and company, and everybody right now wants to understand, like, what's the process and how does it takes to one, getting into a law firm, getting a sort of internship or a PPO or a sort of job offer. So, without even, jumping to that question first, I would like to ask you if you could just share your law school journey with us.
My law school journey was very enriching and experience. The experience was very good, and since I was from a very mid-tier city, and getting into the law school with different diverse people, and they have their different culture, so I got to learn much from them, and I still have friends from the college itself, and it's I in the college itself I was into very much co-curricular activities, planning the event, and I had a opportunity to go to the conferences and travel all around the India. So it was a good experience in the law school, and I enjoyed a lot in the law school.
Like the audience will be watching this video, they'll surely ask this sort of question that, were you doing mooting, were you doing debating, or were you like into publications or just internships? So what sort of activities related to law you did?
So I did not get the opportunity to moot a lot and debate, but I was into the conferences. I've done many conferences, I presented the paper, and I had traveled almost four corners of the India. So my main objective was to travel and get the
Yeah,
experiences
I've
while
heard this a lot that, like whether it's a moot court competition or any sort of competition, you just want to travel with your team. And even you make a team of your choice. You just add in your friends so that you can just travel with them.
correct.
Yeah. So you did not do that much of the mooting activities, but still, I can see that office, uh, that picture behind you. Like you have a lot of books in your office, but still you are into doing this litigation and all. So people will be watching this video. They'll surely ask you that you did not do much of moot. Like, does it really matter how many moots you did in like in a professional life? Does it even matter, or is there a sort of connection between them?
See, mooting to a certain extent, I would say yes, it helps because you know at the time of mooting, you got to know how what are the court skills and how should be present before the judge. So that's a learning experience. If I would not say that you should not go for a mooting, and if you're not going for a moot, then it does not matter. It matters after certain period of time. Like I got to know now that if I had moot, I have done some moots, then it would be much better. But but you cannot judge things. The it happens. The whatever. life throws you at that time, then you have to accept it and then go with the flow. That whatever you are doing at your best. That's all I wanted to say.
Exactly, because I've heard this that, it doesn't matter how many moods you do, like still you can end up doing litigation. And if in like if you have not done any sort of ADR activities, then you can go into mediation and arbitration. And you know what, like even if you've not done tier one or tier two internship, you can still work at tier one and tier two law firms, right? So this is something that happens with time, and you actually like proved it that you did not do moods, you did not do that much sort of activities, but still you are working in a very good firm. You have your own office as well. You are doing litigation without even doing that much moods. So that's actually very commendable. But now I need to ask you a very important question related to internships as to people nowadays, particularly law students. Like you're active on LinkedIn. You might have seen people are actually getting so much of problems getting an internship at law firm. So how, like, I need to ask you as to how many internships you did and particularly where, like maybe in law firms or litigation or something like chambers or what?
So my internships, I think I have done around more than 12 internship for over a period of 5 years. And I was a first generation lawyer, so it was very difficult for me to get the basics clear. And I was very clear that I have to start with the court, how practicing lawyers are doing and what are the nuances of a practical court, and what they do and how they speak with the client, and how they infer the cases, and these all experiences you only get when you are sitting with your mentor, and someone who is instructing you that after this process we have to go do this thing. So there is a process that you need to learn when you are with them. So my first few internships was in the district courts, and in Lucknow itself. Then I went to the High Court, and thereafter I went to the law firms. So my last fourth year and fifth year internships were in the law firm.
Okay, but you know what? I should really ask you this question because you are itself on your LinkedIn, you are active, you reply to people. So, do you even get those messages on LinkedIn that, sir, please help us getting an internship? Or, like, what sort of messages do you get, and do you end up helping them or what?
I do get these messages that, sir, I wanted to do internship at your firm, and these, but see, I cannot get everyone on board, and because I do not know them. See, if I am not aware of your work and I do not personally know you, I will not be able to help you in that sense. But if someone is pursuing a lot and they are following up, then I can help them getting their CV correct, that whatever they have written is correct or not, is their format is good, or what they wanted to establish through their CV, is that enough to get into the law firm. That's the basic things that I need to inform them and help them out. That's the thing.
Even correcting their CVs is a big task. You said that you can help them because that's very pertinent to understand that you don't really know them. Like just because someone is asking you to get them a sort of internship at your firm doesn't mean that you're ready to help. But at least if you're just checking their CVs, that's the, I think, at max you can do when you don't even know anyone. And I really appreciate it because right now every law student is suffering when it comes to internships at law firms. I don't know what's the internal reasons. There can be so many reasons like why they're not being hired. But I appreciate, professionals like you who are there to help them. But like, is there any sort of networking strategy? Would you say, like, is there a sort of what do you call it, a structure as to how one should apply or how one should, approach people when it comes to taking help like related to internship, like people do message you, right? So do you recommend some sort of change as to do not just contact professionals just by messaging on LinkedIn? Is there any other way around, like how should they do that?
See, my funda of networking is very simple.
Okay.
If I create a build, if I build a relationship with them, and relationship is only built when they trust you, when they know you. So when you are in college, you build relationship with your friends. Friends recommend you to some other place. That's the main fund of networking. Networking is only when you have the trust of other person. So trust is most important. And if you message any stranger, they will not have a similar rapport with you, you know. And if you are messaging any known person, even if you have met once, it creates impact. And that's my funda of networking was since the first day of my college. I will take help from my immediate senior whom I have physically met, and they know me, I know them. They I was I was very fortunate enough to get their help, and they helped me physically also, and even now they help me. Even if I stuck up with any case, they help me a lot. So that's the funda of my networking is to build a relationship and create a trust between them, with them, and you know helping them in any way, and be communicate very promptly communicate with them. That's all I wanted to say on the networking thing.
Yeah, because networking is something, it's a day-to-day process, it's everyday process, every time's process. It's not something that, okay, if you just met someone or if you just talked to someone on LinkedIn maybe a year ago will help you today as well. Because this is something that is a continuous process, right? Every time you should do. And even if you're just networking with a lawyer, do not have some sort of set agenda. Okay, I'm just approaching that lawyer for this. After that, I won't talk. It's a regular process. Even if you send a good morning message or some sort of article you've written, you can send that link. Okay, sir, just give it a read and let me know as to how it works. Okay, sir, you are, for example, a corporate lawyer. So, can I just co-author a paper with you? Just have these sort of thoughts. And do not think if the lawyer is not helping you, that means that lawyer is not good at all. Because this is what is happening, right? If the lawyer is not replying you, if the lawyer is not even helping you with getting an internship at a firm, that means that lawyer is very rude, right? This is what I felt like after reading a lot of posts on LinkedIn. But jokes apart, I would really like to ask you that, you are active on LinkedIn. So, like, is it only till now that, right now you are a professional and that is why you are on LinkedIn, you are doing stuff on LinkedIn? Or is it from the college days itself you joined LinkedIn and doing networking with people?
No. At college, I was not very active on LinkedIn and other social media platform. Even when I was doing preparation for judiciary, I was completely off from the social media, and even didn't touch social media for a year and a half. So
Wow.
that's the funda. And when I joined this coaching company, I was very active on LinkedIn, and because you know the in LinkedIn you got to know what law firms and what the colleagues colleagues of the law firm they are doing, and what all updates you get the updates. Basically, you get the updates from same community. That's the main objective of the LinkedIn.
Yeah, because you do connect with a lot of people, you get to know as to what other peoples are doing. You get motivation as well. That person have done publication, so you should also do that. This happens with me. I don't know about others, but this happens with me every day. But I think that was something very formal about this conversation, and now we should jump on to the more informal side. And now we'll play some sort of rapid fire. I'll ask you some questions, and directly you have to just answer them. So you need to tell me the percentage of attendance of yours in the college.
Percentage as in my first year, it was 95 and above. And at the last year, fifth year, it was 75.
Yeah,
Barely threshold.
Really have that, thing that they will go to classes every day, but till you are in, those 5 years, like you are in 5th year or the 4th year, you're like, okay, 70% ho jaye and my life is done, right?
Right.
This happens. But you really need not to name out that professor or point out that professor, but you really need to tell me as to was there any professor in your college who used to cut your attendance if you don't talk. This happens with me. Sad part.
Generally, there was an, I think we don't have any specific professor who used to cut the attendance, but it happens with me that the first class I missed the attendance because of the breakfast, and
Yeah,
then
I
we
think,
had to prioritize.
yeah. When I was in law school, like because of the pandemic, everything came to a halt. But when we were operating physically, I used to think कि सिर्फ मेरे college में होता है कि like I miss my classes because of the breakfast. But after interviewing a lot of lawyers, I realized कि सभी के साथ होता है. And sometimes I feel like, okay, I won't take my breakfast. I have to go there. But then I feel like, okay, damn, I have paid the fees of the hostel and the mess. I should go. I should take breakfast. And then I realize, oh God, it's already late. I need to rush to my class. So this happens with me. And the professor will say, you have to wake up early, right?
Yes, yes,
I
it
had
happens.
not.
I had a good rapport with my teachers, so generally I went to them on the last day of the month, and I
Yeah,
asked them,
this
please,
is what
ma'am,
I
please.
used to do. That when I don't get the attendance, even I
Correct.
used to follow up with them just after the class. Ma'am, okay, please
Right.
understand now. That's humanly impossible for me to come without breakfast and all that. Then she used to get emotional. Okay, Damini, just take the attendance. This is what happens during the college
Right.
days. But now you need to tell me the worst punishment you got. Maybe in the law school or the school days.
Worst punishment. In college, I was,
Yeah,
average,
college
above
में तो ये
average, and
system है ही नहीं. College में तो
ah,
I think the
punishment wala
worst punishment you can get is not getting a sort of attendance after attending the whole class. This can be the
yes.
worst punishment, right?
In school, I was very much scolded by my maths teacher, and that's the worst punishment. I had to stand uh, after the class, and even for an whole day, I have to stand outside the class,
Yeah.
and then that's the worst punishment I
Like
remember.
my mother is a maths lecturer, and I seriously don't like maths. You know what, like during my school days as well, like everyone used to call my mama and say that, okay, ma'am, Damini is not doing good in maths. But I was like, okay, 10th stuck, I have to do this maths. After that, I won't take it. But maths class is amazing. But these sort of punishments are such when you don't like a subject and you get punishment in that subject actually hurts. You can't even forget that punishment, right? So, I think the next question would be the best experience of yours.
Best experiences, as in professionally, I had best experience when I was working in state marketing corporation. So there I have single-handedly, handled various matters against the corporation, and I was, my boss was very happy with me with respect to the cases that I have handled, and I was only a legal person there who was handling those cases. That's
Great.
my best experiences so
Okay.
far.
So now you need to tell me, if not law, then what other sort of profession you would have gone for?
Not law, then I would have gone to air defense
Wow.
or some air force,
Yeah,
something
you
like
know
that.
what? When I was in
I was
second
very
class,
fascinated.
yeah, I used to see, those airplanes and all that. I used to say, I'll be a pilot. I'll be a pilot. I'll prove out everything that, I'm the best pilot. I'll fly that plane and all that. When I came to, I think, 6th or 7th class, I had this thing, okay, I'll go for IAS. Then I went, like, then I think time passed, and then I was in 8th and 10th class. Then I have this thing. I'll do law. I'll do law. But, I had so many options until now. What happens with me? जो चीज मैं अच्छी कर जाऊं, I feel like I should have gone for this. Even if I make a good cup of tea, I think that I should be a chef. This happens with me. I think it happens with you as well, right? If
Right,
you
right,
do
right.
something very good, right, you feel like I could have gone for this, I would have earned a lot of money. This
Correct.
happens with me.
Yeah.
Even if I cook a good sort of, what do you call it, a plate of Maggie, I feel like, okay, yeah, I could have a sort of restaurant now, I would have earned a lot of money. Why I'm doing this? This happens with everything. Like
Right.
whatever I do, even if I drive a good car, like, if I have to travel somewhere, if I'm just
Hmm.
doing a smooth driving, I feel like I would have done this now, I would have earned a lot of money. Why would I be doing this? This happens. But sir, you need to tell me on a very positive side that if I give you a sort of hypothetical situation, that right now, what sort of publications do you actually recommend to people? Because just like you said, now people approach you for sort of internships when they're not getting a lot of internships. But if you have to recommend something to them, as to like you need to do some sort of activities, even if you're not getting internships, do some sort of moods, do some sort of publications. But when it comes to publication, what sort of publications do you refer to students?
See, publication, as in, we should always write what is presently, in question, and what we are generally, discussing about.
Okay.
After COVID-19, when many of them are working from home,
Hmm.
and one of the basic thing which I think that should be taken care of is mental health, and people should always, give priority to mental health as well as the physical health. And I think law should also intervene with respect to the mental health, as well as the, what are the rules and how mental health should be given and it should be given importance to each and every, and it should give importance to each and every organization, that they should always, they should prioritize the mental health in each and every organization. That's my take on the mental health issue, is that.
It's very
Yeah.
important to understand that mental health is something that's very crucial to your health. Even it's above everything, it's above your professional life as well. And people need to
Mm.
understand it, even if you're not getting internship, if you don't want to go for publications, just take time, just chill pill, just do whatever you want to do, just take a cup of coffee and just take some sort of rest. Because COVID pandemic came with a lot of tragedies and traumas for some. We really don't
Correct.
know like how people have actually felt and what they have gone through during those, I think, 1.5 years. It Because right now also we are on the verge of third wave. We don't know when it's gonna come, but still, people have faced a lot, and I think mental health is something people should focus on, and that's a good sort of advice, I must say. But on a more formal side, can you please specify the internship procedure at your office as to if someone wanna apply for internship, what is the procedure?
The internship procedure is very simple. You have to forward the internship, the CV to HR,
Okay.
and HR will shortlist the interns on the basis of their interest, and they will allocate the team. See, if you want to do an internship in litigation team, then they will accordingly want the intern to mention what litigation work you have done and how, be fruitful to the organization. That's a simple procedure that every organization.
And do you people also have a sort of bar, like, you take students from this college, or like you're open to every college?
It's open to
Yeah,
every
because that's
college.
very pertinent to ask nowadays.
No, it's open to every college.
Okay. And to be on a more positive note, to wrap up the session, I would ask you to present some sort of suggestions to the law students, particularly the batch of 2020 and 2021, as to if they're not getting a sort of job offer, a PPO from a firm, or if they are just struggling with anything. What should they do to cope up with that situation, or any sort of advice for the budding law students as well?
So my advice for the young lawyers and the persons who are still in law school. So initially, you don't have any idea that in which subject you should enter into. So it happens with everyone. It happens with me also. And at the end of the last day of fifth year, I was not, very clear that which subject I should choose and which subject I should not choose. So when this happens, you have to give 100% in every field and see what you are liking and what is the main thing that even after doing even after working 24 hours, you do not feel tired. That's the subject that's the main field that you have to choose. Even after working tirelessly working for a month also, you don't think that this is a work for me. This is the subject, I like it, and this is a passion for me. That's a main my advice to the young is that's the thing.
That's actually a very good piece of advice because people need to understand that do something which fascinates you, do something that you love to do. At the end of the day, you should not feel like, oh my God, I've done this, I could not have done this, that would have been better. Because
Correct.
that's not how it works. You need to do something that fascinates you, that you love doing, that actually brings joy in your life. And I think that's very good piece of advice, I must say. And it feels like that, there are some other sort of advice as well, which you will surely give people in other sessions as well. So I think with this, we wrap up this session and we look forward to more fruitful sessions with you, sir.
Sure. So be curious and be never lose hope and surround yourself with the people who appreciate you and help you attaining your goal. That's the
Exactly.
main my closing comments would be.
Yeah. Thank you so much for these sort of comments. And I think people who are going to watch this video will surely like it because this is something a very different sort of video that's very balanced because you have actually mentioned more about mental health, more about the personal health of a person because whatsoever work you do nowadays is something very chaotic that you have to follow up with a lot of people. You have to have, a lot of back-to-back meetings because work from home is very difficult. But at the end of the day, you need to understand that do some sort of work which fascinates you, which you love doing, apart from the work which is very hectic and you can't even handle your mental health side by side. So I think thank you so much for this sort of advice and people who are going to watch this video can surely reach to you on LinkedIn and you'll surely interact with them.
Thank you, Damini, for wonderful
Thank you so
opportunity.
much, sir.